we're told of a lady who lives in Tiong Bahru with a very special artifact related to the story of her birth.
Hello!
Hello!
71-year-old Mary Pereira is a retired teacher. In 1974, she brought her grandfather's belongings back from India.
Treasure chest.
Along with
my
everything else,
grandfather had.
there's a treasure chest, in which the family's
Now my
most
brother's
treasured
got it.
possessions are now
Yeah.
kept. It
And,
also holds Mary's most important personal possession.
I like to show you this. You see, this is my birth certificate. I was born in this arid shelter.
Wait,
Okay.
hang on a minute. You were born in the arid shelter during the war.
During the
During
war.
the Second World War, that
Yes.
is, right? Right.
I just got goosebumps.
Where bombs were falling and everything
Wow.
around you, and you were born inside.
I was
Wow.
born in that arid shelter,
Okay.
and actually I was not due for January. I was due in February. But what happened? My father was mobilized because he's in the volunteer corps. So he was called for duty on January 21st. So when he went, my mom was really afraid because we were living in Chean Street, that's in Chinatown,
Yeah.
and she could hear the planes and everything. So when he did not come back, she felt sure something happened.
to him.
So she went to the mortuary to look for his body, really, thinking can give him a proper funeral. But then the air raid started to, the siren
Yeah.
blew. So she quickly came home, and the air raid shelter was just next block. So she went down. That was about 7 o'clock. But at 12:15, she had pain. It was labor pain.
Mary was born on the 22nd of January 1942, a little past midnight. Though this birth certificate was only issued in the 1960s by the KK Hospital.
In the history of Singapore, this is my brother Andrew.
Mary's brother Andrew was then just 6, but he has some vivid recollections of the day Mary was born.
I was there with my mom, yeah. You could see the night sky lit up with searchlights, searchlights going across the night sky, and you could also hear the sound of sirens. Woo, woo.
So many members of your family were involved in the war.
Yes.
My father was
Was in the street settlements.
straight and volunteer, and then Uncle Francis
Was conscripted by the Japanese because he was a surveyor. And he was taken to Thailand to do the railway.
Mary's uncle Francis was one of those who worked on the infamous Death Railway, a line that ran between Thailand and Burma. The railway was well named. Tens of thousands of prisoners of war died in abject conditions as forced laborers for the Japanese.
From this series of documents here, you can see that the Uncle Francis, for example, still remit money back all the way from Thailand. But the Japanese did pay him some sort of salary.
Sean, what can you actually ascertain from
Well, of 7th January, this is still the Roman calendar, of course, but they have changed the calendar year to Imperial Japanese calendar.
2006?
It says 2604.
Okay,
Japanese
what
year.
does this
Well,
mean?
if I'm not mistaken, this works out to be 1943.
Okay.
So in 1943 or so, Uncle Francis sent back $30. This will probably be the
Princely sum of the time?
princely sum, but of course black market back then might not mean much. Now you might move banana notes and things like
But
that.
official.
Official, yes, official, and send it to Miss Gomez.
That is
M. Gomez.
Mrs. Matilda Gomez,
There we
my
go.
grandmother.
Okay.
There's another document here which I think is quite interesting. Look, this is your baptism certificate. Officially, it's on the Church of Lady of Lourdes.
It's in that registry.
you were actually really baptized in a Cathedral of Good Shepherd. This, of course, this document was the real lifeline for Mary herself, because this was the only thing that she had. When the British military administration came back in 1945, September, they had a hard time trying to register various aliens and various people, and you would definitely needed an identity because you were still drawing rations for the military, you know, your rice, cooking oil and whatnot. So everyone would have gone forward and tried to give proof of evidence that they were living here and stuff.
Thank God my mother kept that paper.